the New York Jets are in win now mode in their 2024 NFL draft class, I ask myself, how does this apply, Ryan Fowler? We are in the draft room. Welcome to the draft room. And now that we reflect on the New York Jets class, I simply ask myself, how does it apply to what the New York Jets are trying to do in the 2024 NFL season?
It doesn't. And unless they're in a win-now mode, which I think they have to be, right? Key year for GM Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, and Aaron Rodgers, of course. We didn't see him at all in 2023. So now moving into 2024, you just look from top to bottom in this class, and it even starts with Olu Fashanu at the top of this class. Because at the end of the day, Keith, I look at the additions along this front five. You brought in a Hall of Famer in Tyron Smith to play left tackle. You brought in Morgan Moses to play right tackle. And at the end of the day, are you telling Tyron Smith you're sitting for a rookie? I don't know if you do that. I don't know if you do that right now.
Yeah, no, it was extremely confusing for me, and it was right where I was ready to applaud the New York Jets, right, in the offseason, going and grab Tyron Smith from the Dallas Cowboys, right, and then picking up Morgan Moses and signing him also, and then you draft Olu Fashanu, who I believe is an extremely talented football player, right, but we talk about situations matter, right, and the New York Jets, like I said, are in win-now mode. You may only have Aaron Rodgers for one more year, so I get it. You tell yourself, hey, you cope with this, right, and say, hey, we're going to be really good at left tackle for the next 10, 15 years. But you went all in on Aaron Rodgers. You don't have draft picks because you went all in on Aaron Rodgers. So you should be in win now mode because it's a one and done situation, right? Aaron Rodgers, you're trying to win now. That's what New York Jets fans want to do. They don't want to playoff berth. This was supposed to be a Super Bowl championship type of move, type of team. So we look at the rest of this team because it's not just the offensive line that we have a question, right? Their next pick, they didn't have a second round pick. They had a third round pick. They went wide receiver Malachi Corley. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I was even going to say in the first round with Olu, I would have liked to have seen them take a guy like Brock Bowers there as far as a multi-phased comedic contributor. We saw what Aaron Rodgers did with Robert Tonyan in Green Bay. Imagine what he could have done with Brock Bowers as a guy that's going to be able to create in the running game as well, in space, of course. But Malachi Corley is a kid that has a lot of tools, but there's some refinement needed in his game. Now, I love the ability when he gets the ball in his hands, 225-pound running back. The comparisons with Deebo Samuel, of course, have been there. He is not Deebo Samuel. He is Malachi Corley. He has his own skill set. But right now, this wide receiver core is Garrett Wilson. It's Mike Williams, but I'm not going to sit here and say Mike Williams is the Mike Williams of past or Mike Williams at Clemson.
You don't know.
I don't know. I can't say that. Now, they're in this win-now mode that we talked about at the top, Keith. Adding a guy like Malachi Corley, again, like the skill set, I just don't know right now how he fits into that room to where he's going to legitimately take eyes off of Garrett Wilson on the outside.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to threaten for it, to be completely honest. And that's the part that I worry about a little bit, is Aaron Rodgers going to be that comfortable? Because we watched Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay when it was wide receivers that need to be developed, that need the reps. And he said, you know what? I am out on this situation, right? And so I don't even know how much Malachi Corley is necessarily going to apply to this version of the 2024 team. If you ask me about the 2025 NFL season, the 2026 NFL season, I'm going to say, hey, Malachi Corley will have an opportunity to be a very productive player. But like you said, when you get into the third, fourth round, you're talking about developmental guys and guys you're trying to get to learn the playbook fast. And also, they're guys trying to supersede veterans already on this team. So that was another situation where I asked myself, how does this apply? But let's keep this thing going. It's been a theme throughout the entire New York Jets draft, right? And so now we're going to the running back, because another big name that they went Braylon Allen, right? And then they finished up with running back Isaiah Davis also. But that's the addition to having Breece Hall and then having Israel Abanikanda. So I'm going to ask you, Ryan Fowler, how does this apply?
Again, it's a theme of this conversation. It does not. Now, I'm all for adding competition, Keith. Look, the old phrase of iron sharpens iron, I get that. But right now, this is the New York Jets offense and defense that had needs at other holes. They could have added potentially another tight end. They've been waiting for the Jeremy Ruckert experiment to work out for multiple years because they added an edge guy, right? You lost Bryce Huff. Now you bring in Hassan Reddick, but it's a different conversation. Those are established veterans. They needed more talent on either side of the ball instead of grabbing two more running backs when you already had a Breece Hall and you had an Izzy Abanikanda that you used draft capital on. So my question to you, also flip that back, is do you think Isaiah Davis or Braylon Allen could push Breece Hall on this depth chart? Or are they also saying, look, Izzy Abanikanda, you're not the guy. You're not going to be a potential RB2 in this offense?
I think they can push to play, right, to have reps, but I do believe that with the popularity, when they took Breece Hall, because we do know that politics, it's a big factor in this, right? Breece Hall is going to be the guy that early on they're going to want to get most of the reps. So then now I'm looking at which two of these running backs are not going to be playing that much, right? And so that's why I look at it and I say, hey, talented guys, but situation being aware with Aaron Rodgers, right, and trying to win now. That, like I said, I don't think it applies. And so I reflect on this, and this is the conversation that we have to wrap this up. Is that, hey, the New York Jets, we don't know who they are or what they're going to be with Aaron Rodgers, but it seemed like they're trying to play in the middle. And I don't think this is a situation where you can have it both ways, right? Where you can build for the future while also trying to be in win now mode. When you made the decision to trade for Aaron Rodgers and get rid of your draft picks, you made a decision that you want to win now. And I think they're trying to build for the future also, but I don't think that you can do that.
Absolutely, I agree 100%, Keith.
So Ryan Fowler, what's the draft grade we giving for the New York Jets?
Look, it's not an A or a B. It's not an A or B. I could go low. We could go D. We could go F potentially here, honestly. But I'm going to give him a C. We see average. Look, I like the players. I think Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis, Malachi Corley specifically are talented. And of course, at the top, you mentioned it with Olu Fashanu, immensely talented. And we are not going to sit here potentially 5 to 7 years down the road and say Olu was the best tackle or potentially best offensive lineman to come out of this class. So overall, I'm going to give the New York Jets a C here in 2024.
Well, there you have it, New York Jets fans. We gave the New York Jets a C, and we will have to see how does this draft class apply to the New York Jets winning the Super Bowl in the 2025 NFL Super Bowl.